Hi guys, so in today's video, what I want to talk about is like my top personal achievements that I've done despite my cerebral palsy. Because I notice quite a lot with my cerebral palsy, I do always go to the negative first, so I always compare, oh well that person's done that, and then I forget that person doesn't have cerebral palsy, so they'll find it easier. And yeah, I'm just trying to think of things that are a bit more positive, so things that I'm really proud of achieving, that despite my cerebral palsy, even if I had to adapt to do them slightly differently, that I've done. And then I also want to talk about things I want to do in the future, even if they seem quite small to non-disabled people. I think if I could learn to do them, it would be really nice for me and something new for me to do. So I guess I'm going to go in backwards order for some reason. I just think that's best. So I guess one of them, my personal achievements, is earning my degree and my current job. When I went to university, it was quite short notice for my parents. I wasn't going to go, and then I just was. And I think it was better that way, because if they had time to think about it, I doubt they would have let me go, because they're quite, shall we say, wrapped in cotton wool type of memo. And so I just went, and so university was the first time, like, it was away from home. It wasn't too far that if I really needed something that they couldn't be there, but it was a ferry journey, and the ferry cost a lot of money, so you couldn't exactly do that every day. It was the first time I was away from home and by myself with other people, and to be honest, it was quite a bit of a cultural shock, and it did at points make me feel isolated and affect my mental health. But I also found like that when I moved out, went to university, that was one of the times where I could really find out who I was, become a bit more comfortable with myself, because high school left me a bit, shall we say, scarred in terms of what I thought people always thought of me. And then it wasn't until I got to university that I realised it's just people growing, and once they mature, they're fine. And once you find the right type of people, the group you want to live with, that's fine also. And then that includes my degree itself, because I don't know why, but people always seem surprised / shocked when I tell them either what I do for a living or what my degree is. And I often get comments, oh, quite clever then, oh, it's not just something menial then. I'm like, no, but it's not like I just know it. I did have to work hard, and especially maths and stuff like that isn't something that comes easy to me. I think that's that's the section of my brain that deals with logical that is partly damaged, and in programming you do need some maths knowledge to know, like, you don't even have to know the answer, but you have to know how to work it out so you can write a program to write. And I think getting past that was something good. Like, I'd liked programming before university, because obviously I did it in my spare time and I did it for fun, and I did it at college, but it was just that jump from there. But what I also found is that people that I used to hang out with, they weren't too good at it either. But what I found is I was slightly better at them, so I got to sort of reassert my own knowledge by talking them through it, showing them how to do it. And that has continued sort of throughout my degree and towards my job. Like, if I know something new that someone else doesn't know, I will try and show them. I won't show them as in do it for them, but I will let them drive and tell them how to do it so they can pick it up. And I quite enjoy doing stuff like that because it reiterates what I've learned and sort of tells myself that I do know something, because I am an idiot in most cases of things. But stuff like this, when I know something, I'm happy to share it because it reiterates my own knowledge. And I guess my degree itself helped reiterate that, and earning that. There was one thing, like, because my final year project / dissertation was like the 3rd highest in the cohort, they had to give me a prize, but I think they've ran out of prizes, and I got the one for personal achievement despite personal circumstances. And to be fair, I was it's a good job I'm not easily offended, because you could take that so many ways. And it was quite funny because at work, a friend, he watches my channel sometimes, he made me a little star badge that says "you tried," and we had a good laugh about it. And then someone else also mentioned that, yeah, despite them making all the problems for you in the first place. So it was good to have a laugh about it. But yeah, I guess doing that is one of my top personal achievements, because of basically because it was such a late decision, and once I decided to do it, I couldn't go on packing up and going home. I had to do it, even at the hard time. So it was one of those things that I had to get through. Okay, the next say personal achievement that I that I've achieved, is that when I was 16 years old, I went to Switzerland by myself and met one of my online best friends that I'd known for like 4 or 5 years prior. We met on a Harry Potter forum site, Hex RPG, if you've been on that, and we talked for years. She helped me a lot with graphics design when I was just first getting started. She helped me with my confidence, and she was one of the first people that made me feel okay to be me. Her name's Lydia. We talk occasionally now, but now we're like across time zones, so it's not as easy. But basically, yeah, there was a trip that I really wanted to meet her, and it took about a year to convince my mum to let me go, because obviously she'd never talked to her. This is a person met online in a random country. But basically, I saved the money, went to Switzerland on the plane with the assistant at the airport, and then like the minute I saw at the airport on the other side, I was so excited, I was so happy, and it is one of the best weeks I had in my life. I think about it every year, every time the date comes up, and yeah, it was nice. And I think this was also like, I think I was a bit older than 16 now that I think about it, because I think it was the time I was on holiday in Switzerland with her when I found out whether I got into university or not. Or because I did a BTEC, I didn't do A-levels, the results came out earlier, so it was easier to know, I guess. Yeah, so that was one of the top weeks of my life. It was quite a lot of walking. I never realised how hilly Switzerland was, even though that's what it's for. But it's still one of the things I did. I basically got on a plane by myself, got off the plane, was in a foreign country, and I was able to hang out with a friend for the first time, like without having to rely on something or someone else. I did that trip by myself. And yeah, that was one of the best weeks of my life. Still is, I think. Okay, this one may seem quite silly, but it did mean quite a lot to me at the time. When I was in high school, we had school uniforms. We had like green blazers, shirt, black trousers, and a green tie. And we had middle schools when I went to school, so high school started at year 9 through to 11, and then you went on to sixth form. When I was in year 9, basically I could yet to tie a tie, which meant I had to get my mum to do it. And because she's my mum. She did it like how you're properly meant to wear a tie. So like long, the back bit was longer than the short bit. It was like a proper tie, but it was also very a very nice tie for something called peanutting, which is where you just pull the tie and then it gets a big knot in it. Yeah. But so I was determined that year to learn how to tie the tie myself so I could make the knot a bit bigger, make it a bit shorter, because the alternative to that was get a Velcro tie, which meant the tie was automatically tied at the long length, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to be that person with the proper tie where everyone else had varying lengths. So yeah, it was learning to tie my own tie. I think it's something I can still do now because it's muscle memory. I can't do it if I'm thinking about it, but muscle memory I can, because sometimes when I wear like neck scarves, the thin material ones, I tie them like ties because it goes better with my outfit and still keeps this bit of my neck warm when the air is cold. So yeah. And my top achievement that I did, despite my cerebral palsy, was learning to drive. And there was a lot of people, including myself, that didn't believe that I was going to be able to do this. And here in the UK, most people drive manual cars with gears and a clutch. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that because my left foot is not as much in control. So even if I tried, the DVLA wouldn't have let me. So I sort of accepted at that point that I needed an automatic car, and that was fine. And the next sort of trouble I had when learning to drive, I did over like 40-50 hours of lessons, but I did pass first time, but was steering, because when you steer, supposedly you're not meant to cross your arms. I could never get the coordination right. So my driving instructor, because he taught some disabled people before in his automatic car, he said, I've got this steering wheel ball, do you want to try that? And basically what it is just a little knob that you put wherever you want to on the steering wheel, and you drive with one hand like this to do it. And I think some lorry and bus drivers do that, but I didn't know that at the time. But it did make driving a lot easier, a lot steering. And then I had to keep practicing at going around corners on the left hand side because I didn't used to be able to, this was pre-passing my test, so in my lessons, I thought I'd clarify that one. So that when you turn left at the junction, I ended up swinging on the wrong side of the road. So now, like, I'm really good at it. It's something, because my mum is quite a backseat driver. She's like, I really like the way you do your left-hand corners because I get them so tight. I always stay on my side of the road. Yeah, and learning to drive opened up a lot of things for me, and it is one of my proudest achievements because of how many doors it opened for me, because I no longer had to rely on my mum to take me to places or go to and from places. I could meet up with people whenever I needed to or wanted to. I drive to work in the morning. I don't drive all the way to the work in the morning. I drive to the ferry, get on the ferry and get a taxi the other side. But driving gives me the freedom to make the choices to go out when I need to, when I want to. I don't have to rely on someone having to pick me up, and it makes me feel a lot less isolated. It took a while, and I was surprised when I passed because I was quite lucky with my test, because I basically drove home from the test centre to my house because that was the route they decided that day. As I was really lucky, so I'd done that route quite often. And my driving instructor was also, not my driving instructor, like the driving test person, so the person marking on the test, when he said, and you need to turn left, it did also point in the direction, because I I'm not very good at my left and right, so I'm getting better. I know now, but if I have to think about it, I hesitate a bit. And yeah, it just opened up a lot of doors for me. I was really surprised that I passed. I think I passed with like 5 minors, and most of them were for speeding, and that made my driving instructor laugh because he found during my test getting me up to 40 miles an hour was a struggle. I'd always stay behind it, and it wasn't speeding in terms of speeding, but just going a bit too fast for the road you're in. Say if there was like parked cars on either side of the road, like there's a motto he always said, which I remember now, is that if you're gonna get squashed slowly. And I think that was only then. And yeah, learning to drive, even if it's different from other people, opened up a lot of doors for me, and I am really proud of that. And it is one of the things that I'm most proud of achieving despite my cerebral palsy, because it was something that got in the way and that I had to accept that I needed to adapt around it and not try and do it like everyone else, because I wasn't going to be able to do it otherwise. So yeah. And I guess I've also been thinking about in the future what other achievements I'd like to achieve or to be able to do despite my cerebral palsy. And I think one of those would be to be able to tie shoelaces, because of how I walk, how my feet work, the position my left foot is stuck in. I am very limited on shoes, but I'm even more limited because I can't tie shoelaces. I don't know how. I don't have the coordination to do it. When I tried it when I was younger, when my parents saw I couldn't do it, they're like, oh well, don't do that. Then they didn't sort of encourage me to keep trying, and that's something I want to do. I want to be able to tie shoelaces, because even though it won't open up many more, it will open a few more shoes. And when me and my girlfriend go to places and spot like all the shoes, we go, ooh, look at all these shoes that neither of us can wear. Well, yeah, they're pretty shoes, but I can't wear them and I can't do them up. And because I am stubborn, I don't like asking for help. But as another achievement that I want to do, I want to have a personal achievement to accept that I do need help, because I am going to find things difficult in life, and it doesn't matter that I need help to do it and other people don't, because I have cerebral palsy and they don't. That is what I've got to accept. I've got to get my head around that, because otherwise I always have a motto when I'm talking about other things and I don't apply it to myself, is I go, life's difficult enough, don't make it more difficult for yourself. But I realise I never apply that to myself for my cerebral palsy, and I need to accept that. I need to accept that I need to do things differently from other people to be able to adapt to them. I need to ask for help when I need to, or I need someone to tie shoelaces for me, for example, so I can open up a few more doors or windows, or shoes in that case, to be able to wear and have nice things. And I guess the next two, I'm not going to put any sort of time scale on, because I don't even know if they're possible, but I'd really like to learn to ride a bike, and I would also like to learn to swim. Riding a bike I haven't done since I was about 6-7 years old, because when I was really young, like up to like 4 or 5, I had a trike, and it was 3 wheels and it was great. And then once I had that, I got onto a bike with stabilisers, and that was fine too, because I could still ride around with everyone. But then once I got to 8 or 9, both my older sister and my younger sister were riding bikes, and all our friends in the neighbourhood were all riding bikes without stabilisers, and I still was. It was something like, well, I'm not going to ride a bike anymore because I can't do it like them. And it's something I'd like to do, and going along with the motto to accept that I need to help, or I need to do things differently. I want to find a way that I could ride a bike that maybe might have something different about it, but just something I could do, because it'd be nice to go out and I get tired walking, and it'd be an option for exercise. And related to that, I'd like to be able to learn to swim. And I did go to swimming lessons when I was younger, but my parents stopped it and were like, well, she can't kick her legs, she's not going to be able to swim. But something I've realised recently is that if you watch the Paralympics, there are swimmers without legs and without arms that learn to swim. So if they can't do it, why can't I? There is a matter of trying to find someone who'll be able to teach me to swim where I live, because there's also insurance purposes, because I find that with a lot of things, that if I want to do something and because I have a disability or a medical condition, I need to get a doctor's note to say I'm not going to die if I do this. And the thing is, the doctors refuse to write the notes because they say they don't have to, which is true, they don't have to, but that also means that I can't do the activity because they'll refuse to say, oh, we can't go on this because you'll sue us. Well, I won't sue you. I'll probably fall off it. I can't promise you I wouldn't, but I'd like to give it a go. Yeah. So those are the things I want to achieve in the near future. I'll probably come up with a few more, and I'll keep you updated on that in another video. Thanks for watching this video. I think my next video is gonna be I'm gonna try and remain positive recently because I've been in quite a lot of pain. I haven't had a lot of sleep over the past few days. I'm trying to remain positive. I think my next video is going to talk about reasons why I've realised I've had a really good year, because mental health wise, pain wise and disability wise, it does get you down. And I just wanted to create a video to talk about why I think I've had a really good year. So then not only can I look at it and reflect on what I've done, I can also rewatch the video in the times or moments that when I'm down, that I can remind myself that it's not all bad, it's not all going to be pain, it will end and you've achieved all these things. So thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.